We're here in the studio in Paris, where I'm joined by Ben, and we're going to be discussing wind power.
Hi, nice to be here.
Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Thank you.
Where are the current hotspots for wind globally, and where are the areas that has still great untapped potential, be it onshore or off?
Yeah, so the kind of big, I guess now mature areas are China, the US and Europe. China is the leader by far and is often kind of 35, sometimes 40% of the market. The US and Europe also, big and growing substantial markets. And then I think in terms of growth potential, there's huge kind of untapped potential in Southeast Asia. So we're seeing places like Vietnam and Thailand starting to grow and change their power mix from coal to wind. And then Africa also, I mean, there's some very, very, very good potential in South Africa and North Africa and I think in the rest of the continent as well. And then I guess the second area is offshore. So offshore wind is growing much faster than onshore wind, and GWEC expects offshore wind to be about 20% of the annual mix within a few years. So it's become a very kind of substantial and kind of maturing industry, and is growing faster than the industry as a whole.
And for all that various potential to be reached, how important is the market design to the sector?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that the key thing now is that wind is one of the cheapest power sources in the world. I mean, it's cheaper than fossil fuel in pretty much every market, along with solar, and that's really given us the basis for a kind of big expansion of the market. But I think it's also very important to get the market design right over the next kind of 10 years, because obviously wholesale power markets are changing. Prices have come down, but we also need a kind of sustainable framework for power in order for people to make the right investment decisions, and we need to push the incumbent power off the grid much faster. And I think as long as the incumbent power is on the grid, obviously we're not meeting our carbon targets, and we're also kind of distorting the market for renewables.
And of the emerging wind technologies, which ones are you most excited about? Which are within reach? Which need more innovation?
Yeah, well, I mean, the big technology trend has been the move to much bigger turbines. That's happened onshore and offshore, mainly driven by offshore, but it's happening onshore as well. Obviously, the introduction of digitalization and big data is having a huge effect on the kind of operating performance of turbines and kind of integration of power into the grid as well. And then I think one particular thing to watch is floating offshore wind, which has got huge potential because it brings offshore wind into many, many more areas with very, very good wind speeds, which at the moment are kind of have been out of bounds, and now will be part of a kind of deployable space as well. So I think that's one to watch, definitely.
Okay, well, we shall watch it. Ben, thanks very much for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
That's all for now. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel for more great content.